Okay, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Meta Platform stock. We're going to see where this stock is headed and what I'm doing with my shares. So, I've been a shareholder of Meta now since probably 2018 or 2019. And initially I made a lot of money going into 2021, but the problem was I didn't sell any of my shares because I was trying to keep the long-term perspective, and I ended up regretting that because over the following 2 years, or the last 2 years, you could say, the stock fell, right? The stock went all the way down to $90 and I never took any of my profits. So this time around, the stock has now 5x'd since what, a year and a half ago. So I've been selling some shares. And yesterday, Meta reported earnings. They announced a new dividend of 50 cents per share, which is, the first time they've done something like that. And they had a huge beat on EPS. If we look at EPS for this past quarter, they were expected to do 456. They ended up doing 533 because, over the last year or so, Mark Zuckerberg kind of made the narrative for the company to become more efficient, more profitable, kind of reduce spending on these different business ventures that weren't very profitable. So it ended up working out for them because their profits are through the roof. And now, if we look at analyst estimates for their EPS, we're looking at $16 of EPS for this year, and then $18, a little over $18 for 2025. Okay. So the question is, so initially I want to say a year and a half ago, I had 30 shares. Okay. I had 30 shares of Meta. Well, I sold some at about $330 a share. And as of then yesterday, before earnings, I had 16 shares. Okay, so I sold almost half of my position at around $300, which, looking back now, that was a mistake. But again, I didn't want to repeat my, the initial time I owned Meta, I was up over 100%. I never took any profits, and then I had to wait 2 more years to get back to that point. So I'm trying to not repeat that again. But the point is, now, as of yesterday, I had 16 shares and I sold 9 shares in the last 24 hours. But now the question is, how far is Meta stock going to go? And even though I believe in Meta for the long term, for the next 5 years, 10 years, let's say, I still know that I think it's smart to take profits, you know, up to a certain degree. Like, part of your position should be sold and you take those profits, and then you can hold on to the other shares in case the stock keeps going up. But you have to find that balance, because I've gone too far on each side, where you either hold too long or you don't hold long enough, right? I've done both of those things. So Meta, we're looking at about $480 right now. I'm up 150%. As I said, I sold a decent amount of shares now, but let's try to get some price targets for this stock. So here's the last 7 years of the PE ratio. It's been anywhere from 36 all the way down to 13. Okay. But if we look in the middle, I would say the middle is probably about a 27 or so, right? I would say 27 is a pretty fair number. So 27 times this year's expected EPS of 16 gives us a $430 stock. So we're well past that, right? We're well past fair value based on this year's earnings. Now, if we look at next year's earnings, we're talking a $505 stock. Okay. So it's very realistic that sometime this year, the stock gets to $505. It might even happen in the next week or so, based on how fast the stock is running up. But we have to be realistic here, and again, try to take some profits while they're there. And you can't always time it perfect, but you want to try your best. So the way I'm looking at this is, I definitely want to hold on to some shares, right? That's why I got 7 shares left, because, how I said, the stock could go over $500, and then I want to take those profits. But look how, I mean, we're talking since November of 2022, this stock has been on a pretty big run. And that's why I think, just if you look at this line, like, we're bound, it's going to come down eventually, whether the whole market drops or whether bad news comes out about this stock. Meta, since I've been investing over the last, what did I say, 6 years or so in this company, there's been plenty of times where Meta's in the news for whatever, social media being bad, or different lawsuits, all this stuff. They've had plenty of examples of that. So there's a good chance something like that happens again because Mark Zuckerberg was just in a Senate hearing a couple days ago. But the point is the stock is most likely going to fall at some point this year in the next couple months, maybe 3 months, 6 months. We should see a substantial drop. And there's no way this stock is gonna just keep going from here and we're never gonna see these prices again. I would say there's a very good chance the stock comes back down under $400 a share within in under a year, maybe 6 months from now or so, something like that. So that's and then that's an opportunity for me to buy more shares and build that position back out, but only when the stock is undervalued. Like if it's anywhere, if it's probably 24 times or under earnings, then we're looking at more of an opportunity. But right now, the sentiment is so high for this stock and everyone's so bullish, everyone's buying in, the hype is there. That's when you want to sell, right? Because this straight line that we see right here, this is not going to go on forever. This is not going to keep going for the next couple of weeks. So it's going to pull back a little bit. And yeah, that's what I'm doing with my Meta position. Comment down below what your thoughts are.